how you doing? I'm Alex Goldstein. I'm with Scarsdale High School Broadcasting. Last year, after numerous bomb threats, theft, and an act of arson, the administration wondered, what can we do to solve, all this stuff that's going on in Scarsdale High School? They decided that the answer was security cameras. Now, the security cameras were installed this past Christmas break. They cost $100,000. $100,000 can buy 200,000 bags of chips. It's a whole lot of chips. Now, for that amount of money, are we really getting out of these cameras the amount that we're putting in? Well, we went to Fred Goldberg, the assistant principal of the high school, to figure it out.
Hey Alex, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, why don't we get
So,
started?
how was the decision to install the security cameras reached?
The principal and the two assistant principals have been having ongoing conversations with the superintendent and with the assistant superintendent, and then there was a determination, particularly last year when we had both a bomb threat and an arson incident, that the time was really ripe in terms of student and community acceptance of the installation of cameras.
I think that what finally pushed it over the edge was, of course, the arson that occurred. And I think that realistically, the parents of this community weren't going to take anything short of, a security camera. I don't think that the security cameras are really going to mitigate anything, really. But I think that they'll calm the populace at large, and they'll subdue at least the parent tensions.
I do feel they were necessary. This year there have been no bomb threats. Everybody's been behaving a lot more in line.
I don't feel safer, and I don't think they were necessary. But that question really eschews the real reason they were put in. And the fact is that we don't have any rights to say otherwise, and this is a public school and a public place of work.
I think the primary reason for installing the cameras was more of a scare tactic and a preventative measure against students causing trouble. I don't think that actually catching students is the primary goal of the cameras, although that might be the common conception, but I don't think so.
I think that deterrence is a factor, but I know that they will, and probably have, can't really say whether they have or not already, been used to capture people doing things that aren't good.
There's a lot of talk among the students that the camera angles don't necessarily get every portion of the school. Now, do you feel that, say, if somebody were going to throw a VLT across the lunchroom, that they would get in trouble for it?
That unit has a kind of brick on the bottom of it. That means it's a narrow lens unit. You'll see some around the school, if you ever get a footage of it, of ones without that brick. Those are wide angle lens cameras, and were put in place to get better coverage. And in fact, that many of the areas that didn't have coverage, or it seems like they wouldn't, actually have a large field of vision. And I think that's just because the lens is so small and seems to be pointing in a specific region doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to capture 99% of what goes on.
I would imagine students feel the way most students and community members feel initially anytime there's the installation of security devices. Initially, you begin to wonder whether or not you're turning your school into a Big Brother kind of penal situation.
We should not be spying on kids who are just sitting on couches, sitting somewhere and just doing whatever.
But in the long run, I think people become very quickly comfortable with the new devices, and they feel happy that there's a possibility that this is a tool that can be used to prohibit crime, or at least keep it somewhat more under control.
The point is not to catch someone right as they're doing it, but it's to say that if someone did something here and the camera didn't catch it, you can still see who was leaving and entering the area immediately preceding and after the event occurred. So you don't necessarily have to catch it on tape. It can just be used to narrow down the field of suspects.
Discipline or no war, that's my philosophy. Discipline, reward.
Obviously, in this school building, we don't have significant number of issues, but if it can make people feel more comfortable, that we can identify people who are acting inappropriately, particularly where you're introducing theft, false alarms, fires, I think people overall are more comfortable.
Well, I think it's safe to say that next time you're holding that hefty turkey sandwich, you're gonna think twice before you throw it across the lunchroom. I'm Alex Goldstein. Until next time, that's the way the cookie crumbles.